but we reach lots of people. We have way more Facebook fans. That's just one measurement, but we have way more Facebook fans than any of those organizations. We're actually not that far behind the Republicans and Democrats. People are familiar with the Libertarian Party brand. They seek us out. They know about the libertarianism because of the Libertarian Party. Many years ago when I was in business, I read one of those personal improvement books, Steve Covey's, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of those habits was you learn best by teaching. That is one great thing that libertarian candidates do. They go out and rather than just preaching to the choir, which is sometimes what we're accused of doing, they go out and preach beyond the choir to the public. They learn the issues well. They also recruit lots of volunteers and activists who go out and do the same thing. Our country is in trouble. There are hundreds of millions and possibly billions of dollars that support liberty organizations each year. I believe the Libertarian Party is the most underfunded organization for liberty. We deliver a huge bang for the buck. I hope Mitt Romney isn't our next president. But if he is, that's one more reason to support the Libertarian Party now, so we can help put pressure on him and others to fight big government. I spent 6 months volunteering for free. I've given over $20,000 to liberty campaigns and organizations over the past several years, and I'm not at all rich. I'm not asking for you to give 6 months of your life, but I do wish just a few of you would consider giving 1 week of your pay, or perhaps just 1 week's Social Security check, if that's the case. The Libertarian Party is the least well-funded group that reaches far more people. We deliver a huge bang for the buck. If we could raise just another $100,000 or $200,000, we could hire 1 or 2 more staff people that would double the number of people that we have running for office, probably double the people that we get elected into smaller offices, and double the amount of press and activism that happens at the local level. The max you can donate to the Libertarian Party is $30,800 per year, plus another $30,800 from your spouse. If you're in a position to give $1 million for liberty, or you know who someone who is, come talk to me afterwards. There are perfectly legal things like PACs that can be set up. Rupert Murdoch gave $1 million to the Republican Governors Association. The other parties have lots of organizations like that that support the parties indirectly. There's rules you have to follow, but it can be done. There have been a few PACs in Texas that have been set up separately from that $250,000. It's over $250,000 has gone into those. Again, we have the revenue of 1 McDonald's, or less revenue than 1 McDonald's. Can the Libertarian Party ever be hugely successful? I don't know. I don't think we've actually tried. We've only tried on a small scale. The highest budget we ever had was about $3 million back in the early 2000s. Again, I'm not asking you to stop giving to all the other great organizations out there. I've given over $3,000 to the Cato Institute myself. I found out about the Cato Institute while in college, right after joining the Libertarian Party, in the Libertarian Party's publications. George Bush said, "Read my lips, no new taxes." Bush gave us the Medicare prescription entitlement, no child left behind, the TARP banker bailouts. Republican National Senatorial Campaign Committee Chair John Cornyn, who was my senator from Texas, said, "We didn't do enough to sell the bailout program to the American people." Our Libertarian candidate from Texas, Yvonne Schick, told him on statewide television, those bailouts were wrong. When I was in Texas, I could recruit one candidate every 30 minutes on the phone. It's nice to be around so many libertarians. Sometimes we're accused of preaching to the choir. The LP gives people the opportunity to run for office and preach beyond the choir. They give the grassroots the opportunity to do something besides read another think tank report or debate with the same friends and family who never seem to change their minds. The Libertarian Party makes libertarians productive. Please make a $10,000 donation or join the Libertarian Party for $1,000 and become a lifetime member. You can also become a member for 1 year by paying $25 and becoming a dues-paying member. We do have forms in the back, which I'm also going to help pass out. And I hope some of you will join the Libertarian Party and make a major donation today. We've got about 10 minutes. I'm going to grab those forms in the back. And if we could have Ed Coleman come up and say a few words about your campaign for Indianapolis City Council. And also our Vice Chairman, Mark Rutherford, who's been a long-time chairman of the Indiana Libertarians, is in the back. If there's time, come up as well. Ed Coleman.
Hey, since there's only about 10 minutes, I'll try to be brief. Giving a politician a mic isn't always a smart move. My name is Ed Coleman. I've been a resident of Indiana almost all my life. I served in the military for 12 years between time in the Navy and time in the Army. I was raised in a family that was very patriotic. I felt like it was my duty to serve my country, so I went in the military. When I got out, I was injured. I couldn't serve anymore. I still felt that urge to serve. So I became a Republican Party member, got very active. I got myself elected because I wanted to serve. When I got elected, I found out all of the flaws with the Republican Party, which are the same flaws with the Democratic Party. I was told how to vote. I was told what to say, I was told what to do. And I finally got fed up and I told them, I said, look, I didn't run for you, I ran for the citizens of Indianapolis. That's who I care about. So I started looking and I found out I'm a libertarian and I never knew it. Unfortunately, more people aren't doing that and we need to get that message out, of course. Now, as of right now, I've been a libertarian for almost 3 years. I've been very active as a libertarian in Indianapolis. I've been helping out the National Party as much as I can. Since I've been a libertarian, I've basically laid down a law. I will not vote for a single tax abatement to a business. I will not vote for a single grant from the federal government because every single one of them are our tax dollars to begin with, and I'm not taking them with strings. As far as I'm concerned, the city budget is overinflated anyways, and if we were to cut out the fat, we wouldn't need all this money. We'd probably have, out of a $1.2 billion budget, we'd probably cut it back down to about $700 million. Now, all this being said, I've done very well for the Libertarian Party of Indiana, and from everything I've heard and everybody I've talked to, this is going to be very big this year for the Libertarian Party as a whole. I left the Republican Party while in office in the 12th largest city in the country. That's unheard of. Now, you hear people all the time say that, I'm a libertarian or small L libertarian or things like that. I'd vote for you if I thought you could win. Well, if I added up every person who said that, Libertarian is probably the #1 party in the country. Basically, this is my year for Indianapolis, Indiana, and the National Party to show that it's not going to be a death sentence to leave one of these major parties and live up to what where your calling is, what your morals tell you should be. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. If I win this year, it's going to boost our numbers. Indiana requires 2% to have ballot access, 10% to be considered a major party. We had 7%, I think, this last year, and we've been growing every year. I believe that if I win, it's going to show a long way, and by the next election in 2014, Indiana is going to be Libertarian Party is going to be a major party. We have candidates in Indianapolis right now who are running on our ticket, who other people never heard of, but all of a sudden these guys are out there in the community, and the Libertarians are making a splash. You know, the bloggers are like, oh my God, this guy over here, we got a guy named Bill Levin. Bill Levin, nobody ever heard of him, but this guy's like wild and everything. He's out there everywhere. Everybody's like, oh my God, this guy can make a difference. Well, guess what? If Ed Coleman can help, Bill Levin's going to get elected. But the only way Ed Coleman's going to get elected is if I can keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, I have a family, a wife, 2 children. I don't get to see them this year because, as far as I'm concerned, getting reelected and helping the Libertarian Party is the most important thing. So I'm out there every day, I'm working it, but I need help. And I'd be a lousy candidate if I didn't say this, but I could use your help. Obviously, number one, I need a lot of money so I can get yard signs and I can get mail pieces out there. Number two, I need volunteers. I don't care if you even live in Indiana. There's ways for you to volunteer for me now and in the future by making phone calls through a phone system and telling people, hey, get out and vote. You know, if things keep going the way they are, when I first became a Libertarian, I said in 20 years I'm betting the Libertarian Party is going to be able to win big races all over. Since then, I've changed that opinion. I think within the next couple major elections, we're going to be a huge splash, and I truly want to be part of that, and I don't know what else I can say other than I'm excited. I know I can win. I managed to keep the Democrats off the ballot. It's me versus a Republican who's hated, and if I lose, it's my own fault. So thanks for listening, and
thanks again, Ed. At this point, we just have a few minutes left. I'd be happy to open it up to any questions that you may have. Angela Keaton in the back. I haven't.
Given what a corporate shill Barack Obama is, and he's so committed to warmongering and the holder civil liberties violations are just terrible. What's your strategy for picking off people from the left?
What I would like to do is go to some of those huge anti-war demonstrations that used to happen all over the country. Unfortunately, those have stopped. I mean, people quit complaining about Obama, so it's hard to find them. The Democrats were the ones organizing those. I don't have a great plan. I'm wishing some people would start some of these protests so that we can go show up and let folks know about the Libertarian Party. We may try and organize some. I keep saying if someone would organize one in Washington, D.C., I'll help get some folks out to it. But I think the main thing is continue to get the word out there. You know, a lot of people thought President Obama was going to cut the amount of military spending. He's grown it. He's started new wars, bombing Libya right now, continued Iraq, and increased the bombing in Afghanistan. So whatever we can do to get the word out, that's what we'll do. Certainly the more candidates we have running for Congress and U.S. Senate, that's the more people who can get the word out and point out people are that he's been hypocritical on that. They don't like it. I mean, some of those idealistic supporters of President Obama are very depressed. I've been to events out there, and I'll wave a sign saying, "Get out of Afghanistan," and they just kind of hide their eyes and they just look, you know, ashamed. So that's what we'll try and do. In front.
Does the Libertarian Party have any of the Republican presidential candidates, any that they like, or?
Are there any Republican presidential candidates that the Libertarian Party likes? I think it's against my contract to like anybody in another party, but I can tell you, you know, a lot of Libertarian Party members have expressed that they like Ron Paul and Gary Johnson. I often say our liberties won't be secure until Republicans and Democrats and Libertarians are all fighting over the best way to shrink government. That's not at all happening right now. You've got Libertarians fighting for smaller government and Democrats and Republicans both growing government no matter who's in charge. Back here in the blue.
Somebody else? I'm concerned about our Second Amendment. To me, that's the most important. Obama is one of the worst. He's doing a backdoor thing right now, trying to discredit the right to bear arms through phony, this phony thing down in Mexico where ATF agents have paid for straw people to buy the guns legally.
Okay.
Because I have clean records, and so he can say that the right to bear arms, the right to own firearms is going to come under attack.
Okay, and let me just respond to that. You brought up that you are concerned about President Obama attacking our Second Amendment rights, and Second Amendment rights are most important to you.
Right.
Libertarians have always been very strong supporters of the Second Amendment. Has anyone heard of the D.C. Heller case that made, I forget, it made guns an individual right? Dick Heller was the plaintiff in that case. He is the treasurer of the District of Columbia Libertarians. Just so you'll be aware of that. That's Libertarians being active, making a difference. I can't remember, what was the grade that John McCain, the Republican nominee for president, got by Gun Owners of America? It might have been as low as an F. I don't remember for sure. Yes, Democrats are bad on gun rights. Republicans have been often as well. If it's not for libertarians out there sticking up for those principles consistently, it would continue to be a problem, and we'd lose those rights. I believe Ed Coleman, you should talk to him about gun rights. Didn't you propose at the city council an initiative or a rule to make it allowable to carry firearms in city parks in Indianapolis?
February 1st of last year, I introduced it. The Republicans tabled it and let it die. So I backdoored them, went to a state representative, and convinced the state representative to do it this year. And as of July 1st, we now are allowed to have guns in city parks if you're properly licensed.
So Ed just gave a great example of how an elected libertarian in office makes a difference on the Second Amendment. We have to wrap it up here in a minute. Are you up as a speaker next?